Cindy, where are you? What are you doing? Hi, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box just below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting and spinning and crochet. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I know that it's a particularly busy time of the year for lots of people, so I appreciate even more you spending some time with me as I chat on about what I've been crafting this week. I do have knitting, spinning and crochet to share with you. I'll also have a little bit of chatter at the end of the video about the make-alongs that we currently have going on, how you can participate in those, and also a little bit about what will be happening on the Yarn and Yarns channel for the rest of 2019. So I do hope that you'll stick around for that little section at the end. Before I get started with the crafting content, I just want to send a very big thank you out there to all of you who have been watching this year. And particularly the last few weeks, lots of you have been sending me well wishes, messages of love and support. It's been quite a tricky year. Don't get me wrong, I am very lucky. I am in a much better situation than many people, but there's just been a few obstacles this year that have been pretty tough to deal with, and it's not really been any secret that the last few weeks things have been catching up with me, and so many of you lovely people have been sending messages, checking in on me, making sure that I'm okay, and some of you have even been so kind as to send me a few gifts and things in the mail, which is a little bit overwhelming but also really special. A few surprise packages have turned up at the shop, and yeah, it's just felt like a really nice hug from lovely friends when that happens. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and I also wanted to ask, how are you? Are you doing okay? I hope you are. And if for any reason you're having a difficult time, know that I am sending lots of love and positive vibes your way, and maybe, hopefully, listening to me waffle on for the next 20 minutes, perhaps working on your latest project, maybe enjoying a nice beverage. Perhaps it can be a little respite from some of the things that are difficult in your life at the moment. I really do hope so. I have tea. I've got this interesting concoction. Oh, I thought I'd brought the label up with me, but obviously not. It's called a cold remedy, I think, from Gypsy Teas. It's one that Caroline sent me, and it smells very herby and delicious. So in my knit tea retreat mug this week. And I also rather naughtily have a bit of a snack. I don't usually eat while I'm recording, but it's late on in the afternoon and I feel like a little pick-me-up might be in order. So the last few months I've been trying to eat a gluten-free diet. Some days I'm better than others, but James treated me to some of these orange, what are they? Cranberry and orange tiffin bites from Co-op, and they're delicious. So I won't eat on camera, but if you notice a bit of chocolate appearing on my face or between my teeth, it's because I'm, you know, nibbling away. Nibbling away at the tiffin off screen. Okay, moving swiftly on. Let's get started. I think I'm going to share knitting first, just because that's predominantly what's at the top of my basket. I've got a giant basket just off screen to the side of me. So I've got a couple of finished objects to share with you this week and a couple of works in progress. So the first finished object, I am wearing my Midsummer Meadow. I finally did something about that I-cord neck, which was bugging the what's it out of me. It just kept rolling over and exposing all of the insides of the sweater. So I decided to rip out both the neckband and also the sleeve cuffs. I mean, it's not really a sleeve as such, but these were both I-cord bind offs. So I have ripped all of those out and put in a 1x1 rib, which mirrors the ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. If I get time before I lose the light, then I'll try and record a little snippet of me sort of wearing this full length so you can see what it looks like, and I'll try and pop that in if I have time. My day's been a bit upside down again today, so it's 3:30 as I'm recording, and I can see already on the screen that the footage is a little bit grainy because the light's not great, so we'll see what I have time for. So yes, this was a pattern in a copy of the Knitter magazine. I don't have the magazine in front of me, and I'm sorry I can't remember who the designer was, but I'll link my project below. And I knit mine in 2 colours of Pip Colourwork from Bahram U. So I used the blue, which I think was Lotherin, and the brown colour is Parkin, and then the yellow is Rowan Valley Tweed, and the colourway for that is Yellow Hammer. And if you've watched for a little while, you'd have seen me working on this on and off since probably Midsummer. And I'm really happy to have it finished. I'm still not 100% happy with the neckline. If I move my hair out of the way, it's a little bit baggy and wavy, and I think maybe I need to decrease and then go back and do the ribbing again. But I haven't blocked this yet, and I cast it off, I think, on Friday, so this is the first time I'm actually wearing it today, so I think I might just perhaps steam block the neck and see if that sorts some of the waving out, and maybe wear it a couple of times before I decide to go back in and rip out again. I'm really hoping that I can avoid that if possible. I'd really like this to be finished. The sample in the original pattern was knit, I think, in a Novita yarn, so I changed my yarns. I also changed my needle size. I went up a needle size. The largest chest measurement in the pattern was very close to the size that I usually knit for myself. It may even have been an inch or 2 smaller. I can't remember off the top of my head. So I went up a needle size to make my gauge a little different and make it a little bit bigger. In the end, I probably didn't need to do that. I'm a fairly loose knitter anyway, and there's quite a lot of room, maybe a little bit too much room. As you can see, there's quite a lot of extra sort of fabric around the yoke there, so I probably didn't need to do that in the end, but that's really neither here or there. I'm really pleased with this garment, how it's turned out and how it fits, and I can definitely see myself getting a lot of wear out of it. Being stranded colour work, it's really nice and warm because it's a double layer, and although it only has short sleeves, I often wear short sleeve tops. I don't like sleeves coming all the way sort of down over my arms. I find they get in the way a lot, so I wear a lot of long sleeve t-shirts with stuff layered over the top, so this is going to be perfect, I think. So yeah, Midsummer Meadow sweater all finished. Just as a quick aside, if you want to see an amazing finished sweater dance, go check out Caroline's Vlogmas. Caroline is Colourful Creativity, and yesterday, what day are we up to? Check out Caroline's day 15 of Vlogmas. Caroline's finished a lovely hooded cardigan that she's been test knitting, and she did an amazing happy sweater dance on her video yesterday, so if you want to see a lovely smile and a brilliant finished object, then you should go check that out. Not only do I have my Midsummer Meadow sweater finished, I also have another finished object to show you, and this one probably won't be as much of a surprise. Mind you, this one probably isn't too big a surprise either because it was on the verge of being finished, but my second is my Going Underground socks, which I cast on in the middle of November when I went to London for a couple of days. And I had this skein from Unbelievable in my stash for quite some time, and it was inspired by all of the colours on the London Underground map, all of the tube lines, and so I thought it was the perfect time to dig that out of my stash and cast on a pair of socks for that trip. And the socks have come out wildly different. So this was the first sock that I cast on and knitted, and as you can see, there's some really fab and funky pooling going on with the colours in that first sock, and that was kind of what led me to decide to use the reverse stockinette side as the right side, because it sort of calmed down that pooling a little bit. I don't mind a bit of pooling on my socks. Definitely have ripped this out if it was a garment or a shawl or something like that, but I really liked the reverse stockinette effect. Second sock though, if I flip this over, has turned out just beautifully variegated. So the same but different. Funny how different they are. I kind of like it, but I also kind of wish they were both like this. I've got enough left. I think I mentioned last week I could knit a third sock, and maybe the third sock would turn out more like that one or more like that one. But to be honest, I don't think I can really be bothered. I have a finished pair of socks. They're a nice memory, sort of souvenir memory of my trip to London, and yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're a little bit different. I paired the main colour yarn with some mini skeins from Caroline, Colourful Creativity, from her Rainbows But Darker set, and I used the blue for the cuff and the green for the heel on both of those socks. So yeah, my Going Underground socks are finished. And then for works in progress, I have my test knit to show you, the jumper that I'm testing for Sylvia, who is with Cherries on Top 2. And I also have a bit of a naughty new cast on. I started 3 new projects this week, if you can believe it. You can tell my mood has probably improved slightly. My crafting mojo is back with full force, which casting on 3 is a little bit naughty, given that I'm just round the corner from my 12 cast-ons of Christmas extravaganza. But they're all 3 are fairly small projects, and I'm hoping at least one of them I want to gift as a Christmas present next week, so that needs to be finished this week. That one's at the shop and I'm not going to show you because the recipient of that sometimes watches the podcast. But I have yeah, a couple of others that I cast on. Anyway, first off, my test knit. I'll quickly show you that. You've seen this project before if you've watched the channel for any length of time. So this is the Caledonia sweater. Oh, that really is grainy. So yeah, apologies for the poor light. Hopefully it will get fixed a little bit in editing. So yes, as you can see, I finished the cable, which I think I'd perhaps done last week. This is the back portion, and I've knit a good couple of inches in the double moss stitch or the double seed stitch panel. I've got about 1.5 inches to go before I start shaping for the armholes on that side, so that is fantastic. And then I also cast on the front piece for that sweater as well, and I don't think I showed you this because the ribbing portion was at the shop. I would knit halfway through the ribbing, but as you can see, I have the ribbing done and I am just about halfway through the cable panel. I think I'm a row or 2 off of the halfway point of that cable panel. And just as a quick reminder, I'm knitting mine in Rowan Moordale yarn, which is an alpaca wool blend, and this is the bronzed colourway. I'm hoping to really plug away at that this week. The deadline for that test knit is the middle of January, and I want to get as much finished before I start my 12 days of selfish cast-ons. So that's coming up next weekend, will be the beginning of that. So I really want to try and get as much done on that Caledonia sweater as I can, so as not to put myself under too much pressure in the new year. And then the final work in progress that I have to show you is another test knit. I am test knitting a hat for my lovely friend Ruth, and this is her first ever design, so it's really exciting. And this pattern is going to be called Lancashire Winter. It's a lovely colourwork hat, and I have agreed to test knit it for her. There's no deadline for this test knit, but again, I'd like to try and get it finished in the next week or so if I can. I cast on yesterday. I'm using some leftover yarns from previous projects, and this is my progress so far. So as you can see, there's this gorgeous sort of snowflakey type colourwork pattern on the hat. I think this is going to be really gorgeous. So I'm knitting mine from yarns that were left over from previous projects. So you might recognise the colour in the rib as matching my Midsummer sweater. So that one is Pip colourwork from Bar U in the Parkin colourway. The contrast colour, the white, the sort of creamy white, is actually a Women's Institute yarn that I picked up from Hobbycraft probably at least 6 or 7 years ago. It's a 100% Shetland wool, and I don't think they make it anymore. Mind you, I haven't been to Hobbycraft for years, so you may still be able to get it. I think the Women's Institute do still do a line for Hobbycraft, but I'm not sure if you can still get the Shetland yarn. But yeah, so that's the cream. And then the dark brown is some Kate Davis Milwaukee tweed, which I had left over. James bought me a hat kit, hat in question, last Christmas. And so obviously I finished this lovely hat from the Milwaukee tweed book. I think it's called Milwaukee Heeds maybe. And I had lots of that yarn left. So my plan is to stripe the background colour as we go up the hat. So I've got another 10 rows, I think, in the brown, and then I'm planning on striping in the orange next, and then I've got a green for the top. So yeah, that's what I am working on currently alongside my Caledonia sweater, and I think it's quite nice to have those two projects in conjunction with each other. It's nice to have a smaller knit going, and this one is so addictive. I meant to cast on and only do the rib yesterday, but then I wanted to start the colour work, and then of course once you start the colour work you just want to see it grow. And yeah, it's such an addictive little pattern, and it's really well written, particularly for a first sort of foray into pattern designing. Ruth's done a brilliant job. I've got my little gingerbread man marker on there. That was a little marker that I purchased from a yarn story before we moved here, so a good 5 years ago, from Apsa Knitting Lutely. Makes those. I'm not sure if she makes anymore, but you can find her on Instagram still. So I thought that was pretty appropriate for this time of year. And that project is living in a bag that I made myself a little while ago. I thought it was quite appropriate because of the earthy tones that I've picked to pop in that hat. I've got this really fun mushroom fabric. Working title for that hat is Lancashire Winter, and I don't think that's going to change, so I'll certainly tell you when that gets released on Ravelry. On to spinning. I have some finished yarn to show you, and again, no surprise, so we won't dwell on this one too long, but I finished my next lot for my combo spin, and I am almost ready to publish a video which will go a little bit more in depth into how I started the process for this combo spin. I was going to save the video and take it from start of project to end, but the video's coming up for I think close to 15-20 minutes long already, so I'm planning on just recording a little bit to end that, and then I shall revisit it once the spin's done. The spin's a long way from being completed, so this project's going to be on the go for another few months at least, I would think. Something happened in this spin that I had hoped wouldn't happen. I'm spinning random bumps of fibre to 2 different bobbins and then plying them together. I'm not really paying attention to the order that the fibres come out of my basket, and in this one I've got a section here where the same fibres came up at the same time and got plied together, so which is quite different to obviously the barber poling through the rest of the skeins. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, and it could be that when I come to knit my garment I might do a bit of colour management anyway, and perhaps that bit might get cut out. We'll see. As per usual, my bobbins are quite small, so although these were spun at the same time, I've had to ply them into 2 separate hanks, and then I twist them together just for storage, so I know those ones were spun together. There's 150 grams of yarn here, so that takes my total up to 300, yeah, about 300 grams of yarn, because I think my last hank was 120, and then I had a 30-gram sort of sample hank to start the project off when I was kind of figuring out what I was going to do. So yeah, I'm still really enjoying this spin, and it's really fun, particularly when it comes to plying, to see what kind of colour combinations you get. This is going to be one crazy sweater. I love it. Finally, on to crochet. I have been really good. I have been carrying on with my crochet every day through the Advent period from the lovely Advent calendar that Caroline made up for me. So I just grabbed my blanket and quickly show you that to you. It's a granny stripe blanket, patterned by Attic24, and you can find it for free over on the Attic24 blog. And so yeah, here is my blanket. It's coming in along nicely. So here where my finger is, you can just about see that lovely rainbow stripe. That was the first day of Advent, and here we are. So for between here and here is what I've crocheted up in the last 2 weeks. I haven't actually opened today's Advent yet. It's been a really busy day, so I'm going to get on that, and I'll probably crochet in today's mini while I am editing and uploading this video. This blue mini is an undercover otter yarn, the squirm base, and I was really excited for this to come up in my calendar because although I purchased a skein of undercover otter recently on my trip to Tribe, I haven't actually used it before, so it was really fun to add that to my blanket. This mini was so generous, I still have some more left. I managed 2 complete stripes and I still have some more left, but I decided not to go further with that particular mini, just because most of the other stripes are no more than 2 lines long. So what I've done with the rest of the mini, I've got this big magic knot ball on the go. So as you can see, I've wound the rest of that mini around the magic knot ball, so it will come back into the blanket a little bit further up. But for now, I'm going to carry on with my Advent minis as they come. It's crazy how quickly December is flying by and how close to the end of Advent we are now. I mentioned earlier that I started 3 new projects this week, and one of them is a crochet project. Apologies for any angle change the door went, so I had to go and get a package. I've also tried to let in a little bit more light, but that means that the lighting, my face might be a bit pale and ghosty now, but we're almost at the end, so hopefully we can do this. Right, new crochet project. My lovely friend Christine sent a wonderful package, a surprise package in the mail for me this week, and in the package she had needle felted me this gorgeous robin. Isn't he beautiful? He's absolutely lovely. I've been meaning to pop a hanging loop on him so he can go on the tree, but I keep forgetting because I've kind of balanced him on one of the branches. Our tree is quite dense, it's an artificial tree, but it's quite dense, so he's been popped on one of the branches, but I want to put a little hanging loop so he's more secure. But yeah, he's absolutely gorgeous. That was inspired by the little robin who made an appearance in the Lakeside video a couple of weeks ago. And in the same package she also sent me this book called Making Winter by Emma Mitchell, and it's absolutely beautiful. I can't tell you how much I love this book. It really is speaking to everything that I love at the moment, particularly a little guide to sort of surviving winter, particularly if you're someone who suffers from winter blues, I guess, for want of a better phrase. But in the book there are some gorgeous crochet projects, there's also some recipes, some ideas for sketching and painting, and it's one of those books where I flick through and there's literally nothing in here that I wouldn't like to try, which is quite unusual because often with these books you pick them up and you flick through and there may be 1 or 2 projects that you really like, and then the rest are sort of maybe not, and it makes the book an expensive purchase. But this one's gorgeous. The illustrations are beautiful, and there are sort of some little essays, I guess, sprinkled in throughout the book as well, and I just love it. And I decided I really needed to make this project, which is called the Fennel Cowl. So I've started mine from a skein of West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat, which is a single ply chunky yarn, I guess a roving type yarn. And I can't remember what the colourway is called for this, but again I will have a project page soon and I'll link that below this video hopefully. And so I started, it was a good excuse, I needed a smaller crochet project to work alongside my Wednesday morning crochet group with, so I decided to chain on and get started. So this is my progress so far. As you can see, I've got one pattern repeat going of that lovely sort of fan type stitch. And this colour is beautiful. I asked, I've got quite a few colours of this retreat yarn in the shop, and I asked my customers to help me choose a colour. Let me show you. Sorry, I was showing you that inside out then. Stupid. So yeah, I picked out, I think, maybe 3 colours from the range that I really loved, and they encouraged me to go for the green. So I'm really, really pleased with that. I'm hooking that up on a 6mm hook, and again, it's a smallish project. If I flick open the book again and take a look at the cowl picture, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those sort of fan rows in the cowl, so hopefully that won't take me too long at all. But yeah, if you haven't seen this book and you happen to be in your local bookshop, I would definitely encourage you to pick it up and have a flick through. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Christine. That's everything for the stuff that I wanted to show you that I've been making this week. Funnily enough, we ended on that crochet project, and I was talking about Christine, who was so kind and generous as to give me that book. This week I have received 3 packages, and they've all been from Christine. Not the same Christine, but 3 lovely viewers out there called Christine have all sent me packages this week, which is a real fun coincidence. So yes, there was the book and the robin. I also received, I'm not going to mention surnames or Instagram. I know this Christine was happy for me to share, but I'm going to say no more than Christine, just in case people don't want me to share details. But I received a gorgeous sort of Christmas rose type plant and some chocolates from Christine. And then all the way from Australia, I wasn't sure how to contact you, Australian Christine. I'm just going to call you for want of not sharing any surnames. I wasn't sure how to contact you outside the YouTube channel, so I hope you're watching this. I've received a package with 2 lovely parcels, and they say no peeking on both of these, so I am assuming that you want me to save these perhaps for Christmas, so I am doing so, although I'm itching to get into those and see. What I can show you, the lovely card that Christine sent me. Season's greetings from Australia. She also popped in some extra cards and also a picture of her and her family, so that was brilliant. It's really nice to get to know people who are watching the channel a little bit more. So to all of the Christines, mwah, thank you so much. You really, really did bring some joy and brightness into my week this week. And I also received a lovely package from my beautiful friend Mandy. I've spoken about Mandy before. She knit me that beautiful colourwork sweater that you'll often, like the yoke sweater, the purple one that you often see me wearing in my videos. And she was so kind as to, a little bit of crinkling, send me this gorgeous sock blank this week. And look at those beautiful colours, even with the light. I think you can see how stunning that is. And that is from Little Stone Cottage Yarns, and I've not heard of those before, so I'm definitely going to check those out, and I will look forward to casting on something really fun with this soon. It's going to make a really, really lovely striping effect, isn't it? I'm so touched by all of the lovely things that have come my way the last few weeks, and yeah, as I say, I find it a little bit overwhelming because I'm just me sat here chatting to you, and yeah, it's so nice, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you, just thank you. While I am in thanking mode, I also want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been able to make a coffee donation. Since I last chatted about the coffee donations, I've received a massive £21, which is amazing. Thank you so much to anyone who has been able to donate via that coffee link. I have a mobile battery on the way already. I mentioned last week that I was hoping to get a mobile battery to help me to record extra footage when I'm out and about, because my phone battery dies quite quickly, and already in the space of the week I have been so generously donated the money that I need to purchase that, and it should be arriving today, so thank you so very much. I'm going to set a new goal over on Coffee, and I think for the next few weeks I'm just going to put towards I'm going to put any donations that I might receive towards postage. We've got a couple of make-alongs that are finishing soon, and I've got physical prizes to post out for those, and we'll also be doing our 100th episode giveaway soon. So yeah, I think I'll use any donations between now and the end of the year to help me cover postage costs for those prizes. So for make-alongs, we have the whip-along, which will be coming to an end at the end of December. So any project that you started before the 1st of September and you finish before the 31st of December is eligible for a prize in that thread. There is a chatter thread and a finished objects thread in the Ravelry group, and there should be a link to the Ravelry group just below this video. So there's still quite a small number of projects in that thread, so you'll be in, I think, with a good chance of winning if you have stuff to finish. So please hop along and join in that. I also opened a thread for the 12 cast-ons of Christmas Madness. As many of you will already be aware, over my Christmas break from work I spent some time casting on with some yarn and some patterns that I've had in my stash, just to get projects on the needles, and this has become a little bit of a tradition for me, and I have affectionately named it the 12 cast-ons of Christmas. So I invite you to cast along with me. You do not have to cast on 12 projects, because I recognise that that is probably quite excessive for most people. I am someone who likes to have multiple whips on the go. I like to be able to switch between different projects when the mood takes me, and a big pile of projects and whips on the go does not faze me at all. I know some people only like to work on one thing or a couple of things, so yes, there's no kind of hard and fast guidelines, only that you cast on something new, and share a little picture of what you've cast on over in the Ravelry group. And that will be running until mid-January. I did set a date for that, but I don't have the details in front of me because, well, you know, you know what I'm like by now. So yeah, join in the cast on fun. And while we're talking about the 12 cast-ons, I guess this is as good a time as any to chat about what will be happening on the channel for the rest of the year. So this will be our last weekly chat for 2019. That also means our 100th episode will be the first episode of the new year, which is kind of exciting. And I have a nice prize package to give away on that episode. If you want to find out more about what's in that prize package, hop back to episode, I can't remember what, but I'll try and put a card link up on the top of the screen now. I have some lovely donations in that prize pot from the lovely Emma of Eldenwood Crafts, Caroline, Colourful Creativity, Fiona, who is Flourish Fibres, to name but a few. And because we also have tipped over the 450 subscriber mark, I'm going to be grabbing a skein of yarn from my stash to add to that prize pot for the 100th episode. So keep an eye out for that one in the new year. My last day at work will be next Saturday, and that means I'm going to be starting my 12 cast-ons of Christmas next Sunday. So a little bit earlier perhaps than I usually start. I usually start on Christmas Eve, but just because of how Christmas falls this year, my time off starts a few days before. So I'm going to be casting on probably 12 consecutive days, and I shall be doing a little vlog for each cast on that I pop on the needles. If I manage to do one a day, then that should take me up until I think the 2nd of January I worked out, which will be my first day back at work. There is a chance that I may miss a day or two here and there. We have family staying with us, so it depends what we get up to. But I will be vlogging all of those cast-ons, so there'll be lots of little videos popping up from me over the festive period. So yeah, I think that just about wraps everything up. Oh, I hope I haven't forgotten anything. There's been a lot going on. We've had a bit of a stressful week. Poor old Newt, my little cat, who often makes an appearance on this video, she has been feeling a little sorry for herself this week. So we took her to the vets on Friday, and she's had a little bit of an allergic reaction, probably to some worming treatment that she had recently. The vets changed the brands that we use. So we currently have to put steroid cream on the top of her head twice a day, which, if you have ever owned cats, you know how much fun it is giving them any sort of medicine. So yes, we've had that going on. We had the election result. Probably the less said about that, the better. And yeah, just general end of 2019 weariness. So hopefully I haven't forgotten anything, but well, if I have, then I have. Anyway, I'm just waffling now, aren't I? So I think I shall wrap up this video, and I hope that you are in whichever type of celebration or holiday that you have over the next coming weeks. I hope that you really do have a lovely time, and that you get to do plenty of the things that you enjoy. Until next time, great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.